Yes, so by now you would have seen Bandai Namco has already uh, announced that Yujiro Hanma would be the fourth and final character for season three, and he's going to be coming early in the first quarter of 2027. So that in itself is problematic because you can't announce him this early and then we have to wait that long to get him. But putting all that aside, if you look at what's actually going on in the community right now, it's split down the middle. Yujiro Hanma, if you don't know, is an anime character from the Baki universe, mostly considered as one of the strongest, if not the strongest creature on Earth. Sometimes described as taking on armies, completely decimating them, having treaties with continents and countries not to be invaded by him. He basically goes where he wants to, takes what he wants, and most of the time, even though he has that overwhelming strength, he just actually looking for someone who could give him a challenge or get him to use a lot more of his power than he normally does when it comes to fights. So a lot of people don't actually know who Yujiro is. So I'm doing something completely different here. Too many people are at each other, right? Oh, it should have been Tifa. Oh, it should have been. Like, I'm not doing all of that because there's a lot of misunderstanding going on. There's a lot of people that don't actually understand who Yujiro is. So rather than me combating those people and trying to shame them and all this, oh, I got my character. Because personally, I'm happy that we got Yujiro. I'm not going to lie to no one. I am actually happy we got Yujiro, right? Because out of all the characters that we've had of recent, and I'm talking about from Tekken 7 to Tekken 8, why are they why have they got weapons? Why have they got swords? You know what I mean? Like if you look at it realistically, right, in terms of fighting game, arena fighting games, or in terms of just fighting games in general, when one person's got a weapon and another person's using fist, at times, right, the advantage should not be equal, but at times it makes it seem as though that's something that's possible. We already know we're dealing with fictition, right? We're dealing with things that are not real. We're dealing with anime, we're dealing with video games. So we're already living in a fictional land, so to speak. So of course it's not going to be real. I'm not under no illusion. However, I would just like it to actually match up to marry into what the game genre is that they're jumping into. And if you look at Baki, most of them the fights that they have, most of their fights, it's overwhelmingly hand-to-hand combat to see who the strongest fighter is. And listen, I'm happy. I thought it was going to be Baki from when they first announced Tekken 8. I thought it was going to be Baki, but I'm actually glad it's Yujiro because it makes a little bit more sense that we wait. Maybe Baki, if there is going to be a season 4, might be somewhere in season 4, right? But a lot of people are not happy about this. And to each their own, rightfully so, rightfully not, whatever the case may be. A lot of people are not happy about this, however. So my thing here is to kind of dispel some of the myth and just give people a little idea into who Yujiro is. So rather than talk about my own personal understanding of Yujiro, I'm gonna let someone else whose videos I watch, right, explain to you. And I think he did this video, if I'm not mistaken, close to 2 years, if not over 2 years ago, who Yujiro Hanma actually is. And I remember I played this video for my cousin to let him know, right, to watch Baki because I've read the mangas, right? And my son, in fact, got me into Baki mangas, right? Because I've always seen it, but I didn't know that the stories were this interesting. So I remember I played this for my cousin and I told him, yo, Summer, you got to watch this, right? And when he watched it, he didn't really understand. So I sent him this video I'm about to play where someone actually explained the whole Baki universe a lot better than I could and explain who Yujiro Hanma is. And I hope this video can go a long way into explaining to people why this character just makes sense in coming into Tekken. Because as far as I'm concerned, when I'm seeing all the engagements that's happening right now, I'm over the moon because I thought Tekken was doomed, and I'm glad I'm wrong because it seems like it's on the up and up. There's a lot of nerfs, there's a lot of changes that are happening, especially to the heat system, the heat mechanics. There's a lot of changes and nerfs to the characters because a lot of them just seems as though Tekken is just this one big overpowered tournament. Everyone is overpowered and there's no defense. It's all about who can mash the buttons and get the moves out a lot quicker in order for you to win the round. It no longer takes skill. There's no longer that small bit of Tekken that people used to do. So I'm rambling on, and at the risk of sounding repetitive, I'm just going to play this video, and I'm going to be pausing where I agree. I'm going to be pausing where I'm trying to emphasize certain things and where I want people to really hone in and take it on board what he's saying. So without further ado, please, you know what? Let me actually give this gentleman his flowers, because it's not my video, right? It's not my video. And the video basically is titled, you know, I'll give him his flowers at the end, but just know this is your video by all means, but it's one of the most comprehensive explanations that I've seen. So that's why I'm just trying to play it for whoever may watch this video. This is who Yujiro Hanma is. This is who we're getting into Tekken. We're worried about the wrong things, because me personally, I'm worried about how broken he's going to be. Not about the fact that we're getting Yujiro. I'm worried about how broken this guy is going to be, because if you know the Baki lore, you know this guy is Heihachi on steroids, Heihachi on whatever drugs enhances one's ability. This is what this guy actually is, but he's so nonchalant with it because Heihachi knows he's strong. Heihachi knows he is the guy because he can go against the devils, right, and still be able to hold his own, seemingly for a prolonged period of the fight. But this guy here, yeah, okay. Without further ado, let's go ahead and watch this video. And please, just keep an open mind. Keep an open mind. I know you're probably upset it's not Tifa or someone else or whatever. Just keep an open mind and hear the explanation about who Yujiro Hanma is before you start making up your mind. Let's go.
Yujiro Hanma has become a staple when discussing battle, anime, or shonen in general, being paired alongside the juggernauts in hand-to-hand combat such as Goku, Naruto. It's even debates with him taking on the likes of Batman in terms of hand-to-hand. It cannot be denied how much of an icon Yujiro has become for anime fans and gym rats everywhere. With that being said, today we'll be taking a look at the strongest creature in Baki and assessing how strong he is exactly. The day Yujiro Hanma was born, every single creature that is placed on the pyramid of strength went down one ranking that day. Yujiro's birth was so extreme that during the month he was born, every single nation on Earth decided it was time to begin stockpiling a nuclear arsenal. Yujiro comes from the Hanma bloodline.
So this is what I was basically saying. Hand-to-hand combat. And the picture you're seeing on the screen right now, that's Yujiro's dad, Yujiro, right? So imagine in a fictional story where the day you was born, governments had to stockpile nuclear weapons in anticipation that you might one day try to test them. Like, let that just sink in. This is the kind of level of power that we're dealing with. So, yeah, let's continue.
Which can hardly be considered human, considering his skeleton is closer to that of a monster than a man, with Baki, Yujiro's son, having a brain resembling a demon's face. It's very clear that these guys are just as close to humans as Saiyans or Viltrumites are. The Hanma bloodline is simply to be built different, except for you, Jack. Yujiro being...
You see this? Like... We know it's fictional. I know it's fictional. But if you was gonna put someone in a game like Tekken where you got angels and demons running around, where you got ogres, ancient ogres being resurrected in order to join a tournament to gain access to people's powers and, you know what I mean, people's lineage, their bloodlines, why would you not consider someone like Yujiro? I don't understand. Like, people understand, yeah, you need to like watch Baki. Just watch it, even if it's just the older ones, not the new ones that's on Netflix, because sometimes they're a bit too okay. But just go do your own research, do your own investigation. You realize that this move just makes sense.
So monstrous that the U.S. military and president go out of their way to sign a treaty with him every year to avoid conflict with this single being. The USA treating this man like a nuclear weapon of war, with it even being questioned if he was alone in a desert, would a nuke even work against him? Yujiro and his father being individuals who have quote-unquote defeated the USA. Now, this more than likely doesn't mean that if 40 nukes are launched at Yujiro, he's just going to reflect them all into one another, just blatantly tank it. It would just be too much of a problem, especially considering he hangs out in cities quite a bit. But this dude is so respected that the USA is basically his playground.
The USA. We know how big the United States of America is. The USA is Yujiro's playground. People, it's a fictional story. The guy has fictional, unimaginable strength that just suits this universe to a T. Trust me, you're not going to be upset. We're worried about the wrong things. How strong and overpowered is this effort going to be? That's what we need to actually be thinking now. Because remember when Leroy was released in Tekken 7, you remember how we broke the game because he had everything. Everyone's moves that basically just worked. Leroy had. And you started seeing Leroy in how many different tournaments, doing a whole bunch of madness. People were dropping their main characters to pick Leroy. And I think we're about to have a very similar effect when it comes to Yujiro, because if you saw Combo Breaker at the end when they announced him, you saw how hyped people got. Oh, like literally people lost their mind. And one of the most respected commentators that coined the phrase, what's it? Oh, man. Tasty Steve, I forgot what he says. Oh man, the Tekken slogan that he has. I apologize, man. I'm drawing a blank right now. But you saw the reaction that Tasty Steve gave. Like he was over the moon because we needed something to kind of jolt. You know what I mean? Jumpstart Tekken 8, bring it right back to life because it was starting to die out for a bit. Let's be real. Some of the things that have been a lot of hit and miss, but in season 3 so far, I think they're on 3 Ws, if I'm not mistaken.
Really no wonder he's monitored among 3 select individuals via satellite at all times. There's also other showings such as Yujiro defeating a monster elephant far larger than any normal variant rampaging, the same bees being completely unaffected by the military and defeating them, with Yujiro taking down this being via sheer force. It just seems consistent that Yujiro can do a lot of the stuff the US military can't, but that's like its own discussion because obviously, you know, if nuking Yujiro out of existence is the only way to take him out, then you're kind of screwing over anybody who's in the vicinity or maybe the planet itself, which obviously isn't a foreseeable win con. But aside from the minor lore suggestions surrounding Yujiro, let's talk about some of his actual stats. Starting off with speed, there's a ton of speed feats throughout the series, so let's just paint a picture of what we're looking at. A pretty standard speed.
So that was when he fought against Muhammad Ali's son, right? Muhammad Ali, like his son. And he basically just showed him a little speed feat, if I'm not mistaken. I think that is Muhammad Ali's son, if I'm not mistaken, when I saw the anime. But he just showed him a speed feat. And in Baki, Muhammad Ali's got, and his son, they've got unimaginable speed. But Yujiro was able to surprise even them.
Feat for Yujiro is him catching an arrow before it leaves the drawstring. Yujiro able to stop this bow, which actually did have a draw weight of 200 kilograms. Or 440 pounds, which is just absurd. So this is obviously not an insignificant feat by any metric. Even accounting for the arrow needing to accelerate to meet its top speed, which is, you know, even if you imply that is the case in fiction, this is just still a very impressive feat for Yujiro. Being a decent distance away, this feat has actually been calculated based on the anime showing of the feat. Yujiro essentially moves 1.726 meters in approximately 0.000666 seconds. This totals out to a low end of Mach 6.25 or a high end Mach of 7.52. All calcs will be in the description, by the way, for full disclosure. So I'm not going to.
Are you guys understanding now what I'm basically trying to get at? Please don't think that I'm being disrespectful or anything, but trust me, you will understand that this character was the best option they could have possibly done. This is going to bring a lot of attention to Tekken, and it's going to bring it in a good way because Tekken 8 could have and should have been the best Tekken game so far, right? But there's too much starts and stops. There's too much, like, I don't know, cutscenes and all this stuff. Even in game, there's cutscenes. Like all of that, they thought that they were doing us a favor and trying to make it stand out. But what they did was just kind of ruin the actual game itself. And quite frankly, listen, this makes sense, right? And we're just on speed feet at the moment. This makes sense, and it's going to make sense even more so once we're done. I might not react to the whole video because it's quite long, you know what I mean? And once he gets past all his attributes, I'll probably stop it there. But let's continue.
To go through and explain the math on each of them, just because you can take a look at it if you want to see that for yourself. We see that Hanayama is able to block bullets while injured, grabbing a soldier as the bullet fires, someone who is not right in front of him. This speed has been calculated to 1.3179 meters per second, or subsonic, which again is pretty consistent, as Yujiro's are stronger than Hanayama and faster than not just Hanayama, but everybody in the verse. And the reason I'm not going into crazy depth on this calc is because we actually have faster feats, such as Katsumi's Mach Punch. Katsumi aligns his joints perfectly to deliver a punch or punches that break the sound barrier. He later refines the technique using Kakukayo's suggestion to imagine his body is made of 1,000 joints. This is referred to as hitless blows, which Yujiro would obviously scale above. We can see Katsumi's Mach Punch, where we actually see him break the sound barrier when he's training in the dojo. This is a bare minimum Mach 1 feat. However, when we see the full capabilities of the technique, Kakukayo actually notes that with the refined use of the hitless blows, you would have no problem reaching 1,000 miles per minute, or Mach 78 plus, which is just ridiculous. Even if you didn't think Katsumi scaled to this, which, I mean, he should, there'd be no doubt that Kakukayo himself would, and obviously Yujiro would scale above that. Yujiro would have no issues using this technique in a combat setting, unlike Katsumi, whose like entire arm was ripped off, or like, you know, just, it was completely shattered, like it was just pure bone. Yujiro, just with a much more durable structure and a much more durable bone structure, could probably imply, we just have no issue reaching these speeds. So this would honestly be low ball for Yujiro. Going further than that, we actually have Yujiro Blitz, which when putting the conversion in at 8.8, who an objective.
So I'm just going to fast forward it.
Much later, speed so 3 seconds and massively hypersonic. These are just that like, a lot of people are probably aware of, where I think Yujiro is the most consistent. Next up, we have strength. Now, we do know Yujiro is verbatim the strongest creature on the planet after going out and destroying every creature on the planet. Absolute, just demonic energy. His Black Air Forces were laced tight.
Literally, I was going to say that at the end of the video. Yujiro is the definition of Black Force One energy. Literally, he is Black Air Force One energy. That's what Yujiro is. Yujiro is, and this is what people like. Please, I want you lot to understand. Like, go see this video by all means. Let me just stop that for a second. Okay, it's Thunder God. Yeah, go when you have the opportunity. Go see this video by Thunder God, and you will understand. Trust and believe. This man is not no joke. He isn't. He's not no joke. And this is the thing I want people to understand. It's hand-to-hand combat. It's arena fighting. So it goes in line with the whole Tekken mythos, the whole Tekken lore, where it's hand-to-hand combat. Don't get me wrong. There are characters like Kunimitsu, characters like Yoshimitsu, characters like Miyarizu now, and some DLC characters from other universes. And if you want to put Jack in there and Elisa in there, where they're androids or robots or, you know, cyborgs, whatever you want to call them, right? They're the only characters realistically that are either weapons themselves or use weapons. But most of it is hand-to-hand combat. But when you bring someone like Noctis, when you bring someone like Negan, when you bring someone like Clive Rosfield, you start thinking to yourself, do they really suit what we're trying to do here? And if truth be told, yes, people use them and they're popular characters, but realistically, no, they don't, because they've already got an advantage, which in the game doesn't necessarily prove to be an advantage, which in itself don't make sense. But it is what it is. We accept, you know what I'm saying? But this is the first time in a very long time that even I myself have thought to like, yo, this just makes sense. It just fits.
The obvious feat that a lot of people are probably aware of, where Yujiro punches a earthquake. Now, this has been debated on whether or not he actually stopped the earthquake itself or just sensed it and then punched the ground and try and flex it off like, oh, I stopped an earthquake. However, if you do take the feat at face value, there have been calcs done on it, being extremely conservative, keeping the earthquake at magnitude 5, 6, and 7. It also takes into account that the earthquake was actually shaking the buildings around, not just the area surrounding Yujiro, Baki, and the other fighters. So
punch the earthquake. So he met the force. And you know, earthquakes are when the tectonic plates are shifting under the surface of the earth, right? He was able to counter that energy. He was able to counter that by punching the Listen.
We have a low end, mid end, and high end for this specific calc. The low end is multi-city block level, the mid end is town level, and the high end is large town level, which is, again, pretty impressive since these are very conservative and Yujiro just punches the ground in base, again, might add. It does seem to be consistent with the narrative that Yujiro is comparable to earthquakes in Baki, because when Baki is image fighting, he actually causes a small earthquake when he represents Yujiro's attack, with residents surrounding Baki's complex reacting to the earthquake, with it also affecting objects in the house.
The family is just full of monsters, from the granddad to the dad to the sons, even Jack. I know Jack ain't really. Jack Hanma is another Hanma who, you know, listen, he would be considered the runt, right? But he has feats of his own. Go check out the anime to understand who this family are. Please, people, go check out the anime.
Not obviously everybody's reacting to it, so it seems more so that this earthquake be a magnitude of 3.5 and 4, which is what the other calc takes into account. But I do want to note that Yujiro being compared to an earthquake does seem to be a kind of consistent narrative. Yujiro's lore, his fist being stronger than a nuclear impact specifically, honestly, probably downplaying all.
Sorry, I'm just going to forward it a bit because the explanations can take a bit long and they can drag on, and I'm not really trying to make this video too long. I'm going to chop it down into segments just to and give out little highlights. You can catch the whole video, but I'm not really trying for it to go too long, you know what I mean? So let's just finish off the strength.
Next up, we have Yujiro's durability. Now, this is where we start to get into really the better parts of Yujiro. Now, Yujiro's durability is something to behold, and unlike our other hypothetical...
So this was when he faced against Pickle. Pickle is a prehistoric character that was drafted in because he's been taking on dinosaurs, Tyrannosaurus Rex, Stegosauruses, Brontosauruses, Velociraptors. He's been taking on all kinds of creatures, Triceratops, from back in the prehistoric age, right? And he's been brought now into the future as one of the strongest characters in Baki. And Yujiro, just for the sake of it, just went after him. Just to go see if this guy is as really strong or as tough as what they say he is. He just went after him. For no reason other than to just go after him. He just wants to fight. The guy wants to fight. He spoke to Bandai Namco. He spoke to Michael Murray. Harada's no longer there. Thank you very much for your service and everything you did for us, man. You gave me some of the best years of my life with Tekken 1 to Tekken 5, and then came back in Tekken 6 because Tekken 5 for a while, I kind of lost interest. But thank you very much, Harada-san. You understand? Thank you very much. But again, people, this guy just suits what Tekken is trying to become right now. Because if you ask me, Tekken, let's be real, it's on its way to being a copy, a clone of Soul Edge, Soul Blade, Soul Calibur, right? It's on its way to doing that because there's just too much flashy flash. There's too much, you know, bursts and everything else, and it is what it is. We just have to deal with it. But this character wants to fight. He saw the King of Iron Fist tournament and he thought, you know what, let me go prove my strength there. I've got a problem with the Mishimas trying to call themselves the strongest bloodline or the strongest lineage in the world. Let me go show them that the Hanmas are no joke. So this is what I'm guessing why they put him, why they drafted Yujiro, and he is the best person to draft into this, people. It's going to be okay. Please understand, like, this is me, as they will call it, the youngsters and all this dumbass generation, they will say glazing. It's not me glazing. It's me just appreciating the fact that a hand-to-hand combatant has been drafted into a hand-to-hand combat game. Fictional hand-to-hand combatant. Fictional hand-to-hand combatant game. Where have they gone wrong? Like, make me understand.
Yet implied lightning dodge earlier, we actually do see Yujiro blatantly tank a lightning strike and continued on his way as if nothing changed at all. You might say, well, we've had cases where people have been struck by lightning and survived in our world. And while that's true, the reason Yujiro's is more impressive is due to how the bolt actually lingered on Yujiro. It being explicitly stated this would have just killed a normal person. Bro is actually bathing in lightning. We do know it's a few seconds, kind of arbitrary measure, since people are walking around Yujiro have had time to hear the bolt and react to Yujiro bathing in it. You could also argue this is some level of like electricity resistance, which is impressive when considering. enough, Yujiro has also showcased a somewhat limited resistance to pain on top of his hard body. Pause. As we see in his fight with Baki, he's capable of tensing all the muscles in his body to negate the pain of a whip strike. A technique known for making the user wish they were dead from the pain itself, meaning that if you are strong enough to actually hurt Yujiro, he'd still have some way to mitigate that advantage. Next up, we have martial arts. Now, this is where Yujiro shines the brightest, in my opinion, as...
And pay attention to this, right? Because Tekken is a martial arts game, is a show off or a showcase of different martial arts styles, and it's a celebration of all of that just put together, right? You got is it karate? Listen, you got Jeet Kune Do, you got karate, you got there's a lot of traditional martial arts techniques and styles that are just completely... It's just a mix match and a celebration. That's how I've always looked at Tekken and games like Virtual Fighter. I've always just looked at them like traditional martial arts video games where it's all about just the techniques themselves, right? And Yujiro has been described to basically know so many, if not all of them. He suits this game. Regardless of what people want to say, he does suit this game, and he does make the most sense.
He's an absolute juggernaut in a show where you have every type of fighter in it. Yujiro stands out as a prodigy among prodigies, a battle super genius that has the focus of combat embedded into his very DNA. Yujiro's shown the ability to instantly master and replicate techniques he sees with the same level of mastery as individuals with decades of practice and experience under their belt. This can be seen most prominently with Yujiro versus Kakukayo, with Yujiro instantly being able to pick up on Kakukayo's use of Shiori and instantly master it to the same degree. Yujiro also having said mastery of every martial art in the world, including ones passed down through noble blood, just makes him an absolute juggernaut with a move or art for virtually any situation. This, coupled with his absurd physicality, is what makes Yujiro such a dominant force in his own series. I really wish I could say more about Yujiro's martial arts, but essentially boils down to this. If there's a technique that you can think of, Yujiro would have had mastery over it. Or if he hadn't had mastery over it, he will be able to after just seeing the technique once. And this goes for every technique in the Baki show. He just doesn't use a bunch of these techniques because he doesn't think they're worth his while most of the time. Yujiro even being capable of countering completely self-made styles. We see this in his little bout with Muhammad Ali. There's many examples of Yujiro just explaining every ultimate technique in the series. So him having mastery over everything is just very consistent. He has the knowledge to back it up. So in a battle with hands, Yujiro just has every option available to him, to the point to replicate it within known definitive measure for an increase, figure out a counter to it, or be able to replicate it within seconds of seeing it. Speaking of techniques, we actually see that Yujiro has access to the ultimate technique, that being the demon back. Yujiro's full power, described as the natural born fighter structure from Kakukayo. The demon back is an amp on Yujiro on what he considers going all out. There is no known definitive measure for an increase in strength the demon back offers. However, we do know it is substantial, as Baki during his fight with Olivia had no chance against him in terms of physical might, with even his blows having no effect on Biscuit. Two, having Baki surpass Olivia in terms of physical strength, Baki even gaining a durability boost, as prior he could not withstand attacks from Olivia, but post demon back he could trade blows with the giant. Retsu, in a non-canon line in the anime during his fight with Baki in the max turn, he says Baki's kicks became twice as powerful after he awakens his Hanma blood. So demon back.
So the demon back is basically like the devil gene for the Mishimas, right? The demon back is the bloodline awakening for the Hanmas. And when you get the demon back, your durability, strength, speed, all your attributes go up exponentially, and you become a demon, so to speak. You become a creature with unimaginable and seemingly unlimited strength. So I don't understand why people are so up in arms like this. It just fits. It really does fit. I know people had their hearts set on certain characters being in the game because that's your character at the end of the day. Praise be to you. But let's be absolutely real. Like, this just makes a lot more sense if you ask me.
Could likely be a 2 through 4 times amp, though the line isn't official, so you have to take that with a grain of salt. But this type of measure, 2 through 4 times, is again although it's like vague, it's not an inconsistent measure due to the increase in strength and durability. We even see how ridiculous the demon back is when Baki utilized the image fighting against his father. Image fighting is where Baki creates perfect images of people or creatures to spar with or use in a fight. An example of this being the Triceratops fist. This technique also does enhance Baki, as despite Baki only weighing 70 kilos, the attack exceeds 100 kilos and knocks over a car. How does this relate to the demon back? Well, when using this against Yujiro, we actually see that the ultimate form of image fighting is revealed to be the face of a demon laughing. Yujiro can take this a step further and actually make the demon cry, which is when he's decided he wants to kill an opponent. So on top of this dude just running through everything, he also has a Kaioken type boost to just aid him in all of this. It's just not.
In Dragon Ball Z, Kaioken is basically a technique which allows them, taught by taught by the King Kai in the Kai planet, which basically just allows you to, it's like, what do they call it? A Zankai boost, if I'm not mistaken, right? Forgive me, I'm old, man. My brain, you know what I mean? When I try to call on certain memories, it just goes a bit lapsed, like it is what it is. But with the Kaioken, I think there's Kaioken times 10, times 20, and so on. It's just a multiplier. All it does, it just multiplies whatever your base strength is or whatever your strength is in your current form. It multiplies that either by 10, by 20, however much you want to multiply it. That's what the Kaioken technique is. And that's seemingly what the demon back really is. It's just a multiplier, right? So let's continue.
Fair. The Hanmas do not belong in Baki. They're just not fair to everybody else. Moving past that, though, we'll actually talk about some of Yujiro's abilities, because this dude's broken in literally every category. It's actually not fair. Starting with his accelerated development. Yujiro stated to be constantly improving at an alarming rate. Also stated specifically to always be improving in terms of martial arts, which basically means if you're ever close enough to Yujiro or like on his level, he's going to instantly adapt or improve past that given enough time. Yujiro in his own verse is essentially a continuously moving goalpost that is just never going to be reached unless you're at a certain strength threshold or you have like the ability to improve at an alarming rate like him.
Bear with me if you stayed this long. Thank you very much. Listen, like, share, subscribe. We want to try and grow this channel. I'm going to bring the video to a close there, right? I'm going to go on a little monologue and a little rant now because I just need people to understand who Yujiro Hanma really is, or I just needed people to understand, just to give it an opportunity, give it a chance. Because a lot of the arguments I'm seeing online is people saying, who is he anyway? I don't care about him. I don't know what he's about. I don't know this. So rather than me trying to say, oh, you're an idiot, no, there's no need for that. We're one community and we're trying to grow this community and make this community the best it can be. Let's let all the toxicity go. The fact of the matter is, I say I'm part of the community only because I've been watching all these people that have been part of the community for so long. And I'm just talking about the FGC in general, fighting game community in general, right? I'm an armchair critic and I'll be the first person to let you lot know that I go to watch certain tournaments, but I'm so nonchalant, like you won't even recognize me or you won't even know me. You understand? And that's how I like it, because I just like to keep myself to myself at the end of the day. But there's a lot of these content creators, there's a lot of these pro gamers that I watch, and I watch them religiously because I want them to help me become better when I'm facing my friends, because I don't want to be on the hierarchy with my friends. I don't want to be anywhere in the middle or at the bottom. I want to be at the top. I want to be fighting for the top or in the top spot. You understand? So when I watch these guys play these games and I start seeing some of the things, it's disappointing, man. It's disappointing. So I'm gonna go on a little what's it right now, a quick monologue, because I don't think people understood, quite frankly, when they announced Yujiro. Like I said, a lot of people, but what people don't understand about why this actually really works, right, is the a lot of the guest characters, right, feel like marketing more than anything else. And I know obviously this whole Yujiro thing has got something to do with it as well. But sorry, I went blank. But it feels more like marketing than anything else. You understand? It feels like a marketing collaboration first than an actual fighting game character. You understand? So it's almost the fighting game character secondary to the marketing. But when it's Yujiro, right, he already feels like a boss character in a Tekken game years gone by, or even in Tekken 8, right? Like, just think about his insane aura, his terrifying presence, his exaggerated, over the top, overhyped martial arts, his inhuman strength, the family trauma that the whole Hanma clan have, right? The violence used as a personality trait for each one of them to describe them. I'll be real, that's literally the Mishimers. That's literally Tekken. You see what I'm saying? If you told somebody who never, ever played the franchise, right, that Yujiro Hanma was a secret Mishima in the lineage further down the line somewhere, right? Trust me, they'll probably believe you because of how overwhelmingly tough this guy is. They'll probably believe you, right? Like, and I went on Reddit, or I didn't go on Reddit. My friend sent me some stuff on Reddit, and when I opened it, it kind of took me down this rabbit hole, right? It was full of people saying that the Baki crossover, like this Baki crossover, has been wanted for years, even up to the point that we're even talking about the King and Ashura, right? But most of them were talking about this literally has naturally the same energy as Tekken. This crossover, it has the same energy as Tekken. Like, if you look at some anime crossover, sometimes they struggle, right? Because the tone of the character coming into the franchise, it clashes. It's not the same. You see what I'm saying? And either the guest character looks too cartoony, right? Or too overpowered, or completely disconnected from the actual world that he's jumping in. Yujiro avoids almost every single one of those problems. He does. Yujiro just fits this. And this is me now just trying to sell Tekken, because I spent a long time with my friends telling them why Tekken is dying, why Tekken's going to be dead, why Tekken's just this, that, blah, blah, blah. But if they start doing the right things, I'm going to start singing the praises again. So when Yujiro does eventually show up, right, known as the strongest creature, it somehow it's not going to feel like it's out of place at all. We know how overly broken Jin is in Tekken 8. We know how overly broken Kazuya is. We know how overly broken Devil Jin is. We know how overly broken Heihachi, coming right back from the dead because he was saved by the Tekken monks. We know how overly broken the Mishimas are, right? Jun is broken. Asuka is broken. Like, there's just so many broken characters. Why not just add one more just to drive people crazy? You know what I'm saying? And to me, the hidden reasons why people are hyped as well, it's not the combos. It's not going to be the frame data. It's not even just the balance. Personally, I honestly believe it's the aura that Yujiro comes with, right? Yujiro has some of the most insane aura feats and aura presence in anime in general, not just fighting games, not just this, like in anime in general. Like, I'm sorry, when I see aura like that, personally, I think about All Might from My Hero Academia. That's me, you know what I'm saying? And to be quite frank, that energy is perfect for Tekken intros, outros, rage arts. I'm going to love, I honestly predict, right? I'm going to do a prediction video of what I think his fighting style is going to be, because I think he's going to have like, when he's in the demon back, like you're going to see the shirt rip off and he gets the demon, face on his back, and he's going to do the pose, right? I believe that that's how he's heat engager is going to be, like when he engages into heat, right? Not the moves themselves, but when he engages into heat, just that's what he will do, the pose. And I think he's going to have stances like the no hands, both hands in the pocket, one hand in the pocket, or just fighting. I think those will probably be stances that day. I think he's going to be a stance character. I really do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking forward to Yujiro staring down Kazuya, Yujiro staring down Jin, Yujiro staring down Heihachi. Like, literally, just with that terrifying, presence. Like, he's terrifying, laughing at characters, strong characters like Paul Phoenix, like Jack 8, treating the entire roster like like they're just nobodies. That's just gonna be content gold. I'm telling you, people will literally look at that, yeah, and say to themselves, pardon, excuse me. I think people are gonna look at that and say, "Raw, you know what? Yeah, this is gonna be nuts." Like I said, he's gonna be broken. That's gonna be the hardest thing for the developers, balancing this character in accordance to everyone else in the game, because the aura's just there, and with that aura means he's gonna have some insane moves. How are they gonna balance those moves? This guy's gonna do damage. Remember when Akuma first came in Tekken 7? You saw how damaging he was. Yeah, this is gonna be worse, especially when people get their hands on. Oh, listen, man, I could call some names right now that I watch their overall take, but I can't wait for them to get their hands on this. You know what I'm saying? Because they're gonna make him absurdly unbeatable, especially if you're facing against him in arcade mode or in any kind of ghost battle or whatever. He's just gonna be absurd. They might even bring in a different mode just to face Yujiro. Oh, that's a massive selling point. Beat Yujiro at the toughest level. Let's see who can do it the fastest or who can do it at all. That will be so dope. People will listen. This, you know, this ain't got no downsides to it. Like, so, like, I honestly believe, right? Yujiro entering that like it's actually madness, and it just makes sense. And this DLC is gonna hit multiple fan bases. It's gonna hit the fighting game community in general. It's gonna hit the 3D fighters. It's gonna hit the arena fighters. It's gonna hit the anime. Like, it just, there's so many different sectors that it can bring together, and I think it can bring it together. The Tekken fans, anime fans, the Baki fans, especially. You know what I mean? The fighting game creators. It's just it goes alongside with the meme culture. Like, truth be told, you know what I'm saying? So I think you can already see the impact online from when they announced it as well. Like, too many people are just, that reveal exploded all across social media. It exploded on every single platform. A lot of people were more happy than not, but there were a few negative reactions, which I can understand. And some of those people are the OGs of this scene. So you just got to take what they say and just respect their opinions. I'm not going to go at anyone. I'm not going to say anyone's wrong, anyone's right, or this, that. I'm just speaking purely based off of what my excitement is for this character. So I honestly believe it creates conversation, right? Outside of the core player base, and I think Tekken has needed that boost. And it feels bigger than normal character reveals, if you ask me, because Yujiro isn't just another fighter. You know what I'm saying? He's an event in himself. Like, literally, people, you know, who have touched Tekken or who haven't touched Tekken in months, are all of a sudden they're paying attention again. Especially me. I went out and I bought season 3. I don't buy seasons because I think that's a whole load of nonsense. I don't. Tekken 7, I didn't buy it until it was complete, and then I bought the complete pack, right? I don't just buy seasons because I think that's a scam. I think all this pay to win nonsense, but I just love Tekken. I love fighting games, and I'm always gonna do it with fighting games that I love. You know what I'm saying? But I believe it's just it's unnecessary. You know what I'm saying? And the interactions I'm looking forward to, because I know they're going to be so disrespectful. Most DLCs will get hyped for a weekend. I've seen this hype last a lot longer, and people, I believe, are going to talk about this for months. It will eventually die down, but not die down to the extent of what normal other characters is. So my final thoughts, because this video has gone on a lot longer than what I would like, but nevertheless, thank you very much for watching, right? I think Yujiro Hanma might be the genuinely might be the perfect guest character for Tekken. And it's not just because he matches the soul of the franchise. It's the brutality, it's the ego, it's the absurd masculinity. Like, literally, if you wanted to say if toxic masculinity was actually real, he would actually be the definition. You know, the violence, the intimidation, the over the top martial arts insanity, the moves. The guy just develops naturally just by himself. So I don't feel like this feels like a crossover, if truth be told. I really don't. I don't feel like this is a crossover at all. I think this feels like Yujiro may have been the missing piece all along in this franchise. And for that, yeah, man, I'm all here for it, you know. So again, thank you very much for sitting in. I know it's been a long video. Thank you. If you've watched all of it, by all means, I appreciate you. I thank you. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. If there is a hype button, hype up the video. I'm trying to grow the community. I'm a small YouTuber, you know. By all means, I'm just, you know, putting my you know, little knowledge out there and little known things about, you know, nothing, just sharing my opinions and my observations. And honestly, I believe this is something to celebrate in the Tekken community. I don't think it's as bad as what people are gonna think it is or are making it out to be. So yeah, with that being said, by all means, listen, there's going to be more from the channel. There's going to be video games. There's going to be commentary. There's going to be video games. I'm going to be bouncing in between the two. At the moment, I'm taking a break from ranking in Tekken because that game is just stressful when I go online and just play normally. That's how I do labbing work now. I go online and play just casual matches before I go on the Tekken run because I don't want to be spending too much time on the Tekken runs, the ranking, getting beat badly to the point where my head's hurting. So I'd rather go do versus casuals and rank up that way and then come back and actually attempt ranking properly. You know what I'm saying? Like level up my actual gameplay that way and then come back. But yeah, man, I'll catch you guys on the next one. I appreciate everyone for being there. Thank you. Peace.